Well, the top shot streets are a dangerous place, so you better tune in to the guy in a bear suit, guy in a bear suit, yep, bear suit, yep, guy in a bear suit, yep.
Hey everyone, it's actually Jeb Bush, and it's been a couple weeks since I made a UFC Strike video, and a lot has happened. There's been some updates to the site, there's been challenges, there's been pack drops, there's been a lot. So I figured it'd be a good time to make a video, kind of catching everyone up if you've been out of the loop, and then talking about what I think we might see in the future. So right away, the marketplace looks a lot cleaner. There's some more information here. It looks a lot better than the very simplistic, basic way it was before. Unfortunately, there are no additional filters. I hope that's coming soon, as there are more moments added to the site. Having filters to find specific moments besides just the search and the separating by series, I think is important. But if we go ahead and click on a moment, such as Charles Oliveira here, who just had a massive W, even though he missed weight, we'll see some of the other updates. We have recent purchases, which gives you an idea of the activity around this moment. And we also have the live viewing now, which shows you how many people are currently on this page looking at this moment. And it just additional information is good to have. It gives you a better idea. It's not as good. This eyeball thing is not as good as NFL All Day, where the eyeballs pop up live next to the moments, which kind of indicates to you that someone is trying to buy it. I hope that's coming for Top Shot and for UFC Strike. I think that's a really, really cool and useful feature for users. So there's just not as much frustration when people are trying to buy a moment and it is constantly failing because other people are scooping it up. So I think that's really, really cool. I like all that a lot. In addition, we have this activity button, which is new, which nothing super fancy, but it just kind of shows you the live activity as sales are made, which once again, useful to have this information. The really exciting thing is that we've had challenges start. Right now, the current challenge going on is this UFC 274, which just happened yesterday. And there are three different levels, or there's two levels and a cheat code. And the cheat code gets you both levels, which I think is really, really cool. This is not the first challenge that we've had, but I really like that it's separated by rarity level, like contender and challenger, because the last challenge had contender and challenger moments, and you needed a Guida in order to complete it. So he just became the clear bottleneck. So the other moments almost didn't matter, which I thought was a little unfortunate. I do like this a lot. Like, yes, Chandler and Gaethje have a double the mint count of Oliveira and Joe Liaison, which I mean will cause them to be the bottleneck, and Gaethje and Chandler, I believe, dipped in price, but that's fine. They're both on the contender level. I think having some burning challenges centered around Series Zero would be extremely useful. I think it provides some value and hopefully gets those mint counts a little closer to Series 1. And it also rewards collectors of Series Zero, who were the first people to kind of believe in the project and put money into it. So if you complete challenge number 1, you'll get 3 random Series 1 contender moments, which I think is pretty cool because you should look at it almost like passive income. If you already have the moments, then you're just getting additional moments for free, which I think is dope. And you could get a Khabib, which is always a W in my book. But for level 2, which requires the challenger moments, you're going to win a fandom moment from Fight of the Night, which is the second time they've done this. And I think this is really, really cool. However, that being said, from what I've seen in the Discord, the moment is going to end up being from the Rose fight as opposed to being that crazy Chandler knockout, which was clearly the highlight of UFC 274. And as a result, we've seen the prices on these moments take a pretty drastic dip. I think the Rose was going for around 120 and it's now going for around 80. Now, obviously, part of that I think is because she lost also, but the Cerrone has dipped as well, and the lightweight moments in general have dipped. So I think a lot of people were really excited about that Chandler knockout, and it seems that they are much less excited about the Rose submission. And then finally, we have the cheat code, which I actually think is really cool because you win the level 1 and level 2 rewards, which they haven't done that yet in Top Shot. Now, the cheat code's always applied to the metallic silver, and if you did the rookie challenge, you just get a base set pack. But I feel like if you do the cheat code where you need a legendary or a very expensive moment, they should automatically give you both reward, which in my mind helps put clear distinction between legendary and rare. While with Top Shot, I think rare and legendary right now are a little more interchangeable. Yes, they have the cheat codes with legendaries, but all the challenges are like, oh, you need a rare or a legendary, which is cool because I think they are trying to make these challenges a little more accessible so people can chase them or team up, and it's not just a handful of select individuals with crazy accounts that are able to complete them. But I do personally like UFC Strike here, where there's just such a clear distinction between each level here. The legendary gets you both rewards, the rare gets you the better reward of the other two, and then the commons get you a very cool reward, but clearly a step down from level 2. I think this is done very well. I also like the graphics of this page. It really makes it very easy to understand. There's no confusion here. And I think that's extremely important for people to be engaged and be excited about these challenges. I think the last thing that we need to touch on is the drop. So we just had a UFC 274 drop that dropped before the fight, and the challenges were announced before the drop, which I thought was interesting as well. So there was an elite pack and a base pack, but the clear difference was the price point here. With the elite pack, you got 5 moments this time, and 2 were rare, or one of those 2 rares was actually a legendary. You had a chance at that. The percentages were really good once again, and then the base pack, you could obviously get 3 commons or get 2 commons and a rare. The price point is such a welcome change. I think that even Top Shot lately has kind of realized that maybe they're pumping out too many packs and charging a little bit too much, and they've seemed to slow their roll and allow people to buy with trade tickets, which I think is very good to see. But it is really cool to see that UFC Strike has been so receptive to user feedback and that they've made these changes like rather quickly as opposed to doing things for a month or 2 months and then making a slight tweak. Which brings me to one more point. If you are an active participant in UFC Strike, you should check your email because once again, they've sent out an email asking for you to fill out a survey to provide feedback, which is important. And that's how things like these price changes happen. So I would highly encourage you to check your email and fill out the survey if you have not. I will be doing so after I make this video. So now that we've caught up with everything that's happened in the past couple of weeks, I want to talk about what I think is happening in the near future for UFC Strike and how you can better prepare yourself. So for the last couple of cards, we've seen several different challenges. Whether there are multiple challenges for the card, such as in the UFC 274 challenge, or just a single challenge, like for some of the fight nights that we've seen. But regardless, we've seen every fighter that's fighting on the card, if they have a moment, is included in some way. Which is why I don't think it's a bad idea to look ahead at some upcoming fights and determine which fighters on those cards have moments on UFC Strike. For example, they just released a moment for Holly Holm, and she's fighting on May 21st. I don't think that's just some random coincidence. I think it's pretty apparent that that moment will be used in a challenge. And we've seen some pretty crazy movement for challenge moments. For example, we saw the Clay Guida go from like $50 to like, I think it peaked a little over 200 when it was the bottleneck for a challenge to get a Series 0 pack. And that's a pack that's going to have moments that, unless you pull a champion moment, are basically like $2-3 a pop. If there's a Series 1 Elite pack on the line, I think people will clamor to get those moments. And by being ahead of the pack, I think it's a solid move. Now, obviously, this isn't financial advice, and you should do your own research and make your own decisions. But I just want to give an interesting example of something that I've done recently. So let's go to my collection. And well, as you can first see that I have quite a few packs that I've been holding. I opened my elite pack that I hit on, and that's where I got one of my Holly Holmes that I pulled. But I've been keeping most of them sealed for now and just buying the contender moments and making sure I have all of them. But let's go ahead and take a look. So as you can see, I right now have 4 Angela Hill moments, and I have bought them all for $2 a piece. Now, Angela Hill fights on the 14th. And if there is a challenge that requires all contender moments, I know that she will at the very least be a co-bottleneck because her mint count is 12,000. Now, there are several other fighters on that card that also have moments, Andrea Lee being one of them. And there are a couple other, and I believe they're all minted at 12,000. I could be wrong. But even if Angela Hill is not the actual bottleneck and just shares a mint count with the rest of the fighters that are required in a contender challenge, I do think we see her go above $2. So I don't think it's that much of a risk to buy a couple of these before the challenge is announced. If there's no challenge, she stays at $2. I don't think she's going to drop any lower than that. And if there is a challenge, you're prepared and you're not buying any moments on a pump, which is never fun to do, especially when you're really excited about what the challenge reward is. So I think I'm going to end the video there. Thank you so much for taking the time to check it out. If you have a question or a strategy or some speculation or just want to talk about UFC 274, please feel free to leave a comment below. Please leave a like and subscribe. It does help me out a lot. And once again, just yeah, thank you so much for checking this out. And I will see everyone next video. Please clap.